Hearsay statements that describe symptoms and are made for the purpose of receiving medical treatment are admissible under the medical treatment exception. But does the exception still apply if the statement identifies a domestic abuser as the source of injury? Ward v. State considered that question. After Dee Ward dropped off his girlfriend, J.M., at her parents' house, they discovered her crying with bruises and welts covering her legs. So her stepfather called 911. Upon arrival, the paramedic asked what happened. J.M. responded that her boyfriend had beaten her with a belt. The paramedic took J.M. to the hospital, where a forensic nurse took J.M.'s medical history and examined her. The nurse asked J.M. what caused her injuries. When J.M. said her boyfriend had beaten her with a belt, the nurse alerted staff not to confirm J.M.'s presence if anyone called looking for her. After ruling out internal injuries, the nurse gave J.M. a painkiller prescription and referrals to domestic violence organizations and counseling services. The nurse then ensured that J.M. was discharged safely to her parents' house instead of the house she shared with Ward. The state of Indiana charged Ward with battery. J.M. didn't appear for depositions, and law enforcement couldn't locate her to testify at trial. So the prosecution introduced the statements that J.M. had made to the paramedic and nurse into evidence. The paramedic testified that she had asked J.M. what happened in order to provide proper treatment and to find out the attacker's identity in case that person was present and still posed a threat. The nurse testified that she needed to know the attacker's identity because that information affects the safety and discharge plans required by hospital policy and the professional standard of care for treating victims of violence. Ward objected to the introduction of J.M.'s statements identifying her attacker, claiming they were testimonial hearsay that violated his right to confront adverse witnesses. The judge disagreed and admitted the statements into evidence. Ultimately, Ward was found guilty. The Court of Appeals affirmed. Ward appealed to the Indiana Supreme Court.